Hello, everybody. How you doing? You're welcome to the channel. You're welcome to the show. So today we'll be talking about transfers, the confirmed deals, those done deals. And if I'd ask you, who do you think is winning the summer transfer window so far? Who has won it so far? Now, don't want you to be, you know, overly biased. Don't be tribal. Just say, just say the truth and be honest about it for a second. I'm sure you would say Liverpool. Liverpool, for me, they are winning the transfer window completely. It's not even close because I think they are doing. They won the league title last season, and then they've come up this season, and they now are beginning to fill in spaces, where they have need. They've got Frimpong to replace Alexander Arnold. They've got Kekesh to replace an aging Robertson. They've got Florian Wirtz to come in to be that creative spark in the midfield. And then, of course, in addition to Mo Salah already there. And then, plus, don't forget, they've got Georgie Madajashvili coming in as well to join Liverpool. So you see, they are winning this window. So let's just go to the public site and let's have a look at this. Now, so this is done deals. These are the deals that have been done so far that have come through. So you see, they've got Georgie Madashvili. I hope I've not butchered his name. I think he's the Georgian national team goalkeeper. He's joined them, and I think he'll be a good backup right now for Alison Becker. So let's see how that goes. Very, very good goalkeeper. They've got Florian Wirtz, of course, £160 million already in the building. So he's the star player for me. He's the biggest cash so far. He's the biggest transfer deal so far this window. And then, of course, you've got Frimpong as well, his teammate from Bayer Leverkusen. So you can see they have really taken care of business. That's why for me, I say they have won this window. In my opinion, they have won this window because they filled up places where they've had gaps, but then they're going out again and they've gone out again to replenish the team. Because I think what they're trying to do is, yes. So what they've tried to do is not only replace players that have gone out, but also make the team better. Because even with Mo Salah last season scoring all the goals he scored, definitely didn't have a creator like Florian Wirtz. So now you add Florian Wirtz into the mix. So even if he gets, let's say, 10 goals or let's say 12 goals in Premier League, which is entirely possible, and then with an additional, say, 10 assists, in the Premier League, and then you've got Mo Salah racking up easy 25 goals in the season with another 10 assists maybe, with 35 goal contributions in addition to what Florian Wirtz will bring. They've won this window. Let's not argue about it. They have indeed won this window. And now, your club, is it Arsenal for me? Is it Arsenal? Is it Liverpool? Is it Manchester United? Is it Chelsea? For me, Manchester United haven't really started this season, in my opinion. They still having links to Mbuemo, still having links to maybe Nkunku as well. I'm not quite sure if they'll be able to get any of those over the line, but it does seem very, very almost certain that they will be getting Buemo. Let's see how that shakes out. And then the next team we'll look at would be um, Bournemouth. Bournemouth, because there's one player, interesting player there, that I want to have a look at, want to talk about, because he was linked to move to Chelsea. And I'm happy that he didn't get signed by Chelsea because for me as a Chelsea fan, I think we've had enough of those kind of players. He's early Junior Krupi. I think he's eligible for France and Cameroon, and he was loaned back to a friend club, and now he's come back to join them. Was got from Lorient. Now, for me, the thing is, he's a young player, and possibly they'll able to give him game time, in the Premier League, and let's see how that shakes out. Why I didn't want him at Chelsea was this. Of course, he's a brilliant player. Of course, he has ability, but he's still another very young, very, very young. I think he's about 18 or 19 years, about a very super young player. And you have McGee already at Chelsea. You've got Liam Delap, a bit older, who's 22. But the team is fraught with young players. everywhere, no experience. So for me, I looked at early junior Croppy. Is it one of those kind of players like an Mbappe that can come in immediately and instantly make your team title contenders? I don't think so. So happy he went to Bournemouth. I think that's a major coup for them, and they've let some players go. Then Hoysen going to Real Madrid, £50 million. Kepa, end of loan, returned to Chelsea, but has ended up, joining Arsenal. Well, at least that is it's in the works. It hasn't been made official by the club, but you've gotten the here we go from Fabrizio Romano. I think Honestin has alluded to that move as well. So good move for Arsenal to get a Kepa, a decent backup keeper. I think he got way too much stick from the Chelsea fans. And I think the moment Kepa lost the Chelsea fans, I think it was that time when Sarri wanted to substitute him in that cup semi-final thereabout. Wanted to substitute him and he refused to come out, and Chelsea ended up losing the penalty shootouts. So I'm sure that's where Chelsea fans sort of fell out of love with Kepa. Now Kepa is a decent keeper. A lot of Chelsea fans forgot how he helped Chelsea get to Europa League final, helped Chelsea win that Europa League final against Arsenal. So everyone just thought they will get him out of my club, get him out of my club. So when he's gone now, because the goalkeeping situation at Chelsea is just crazy at the minute. You've got Sanchez with shaky. We've got Philip Jorgensen that doesn't inspire any confidence at all in anybody in the team. We've got Mike Penders that I have high hopes for, but he's still very, very young. Very young. So for me, not quite sure. So it's a very crazy situation. But nonetheless, Kepa, not crying over Kepa, he's gone to Arsenal to be their backup keeper, maybe challenge Raya, who knows. So that's it for them. So Bournemouth, I think they've done okay-ish business. They've not done fantastic, but the window is still young. The window is still young. And then, so we're going to look at other clubs. So what would you say about what your clubs have done this transfer window? For the done deals, those deals that have been complete. If the season, should end now, will you be comfortable with what your club have done? Would you be, okay with the business your club, has indeed done? For me, from a Chelsea perspective, would I say I'm comfortable? No, I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable. I'm not convinced. I'm not all too happy with what they've done. But let's have a look at what another London side have done. Brentford. Let's see what Brentford have done. Brentford is important. This transfer window is really important for Brentford because they've lost their manager in Thomas Frank to Spurs. And when you lose an inspirational manager, because some people underplay what Thomas Frank has done for Brentford. He brought them up from the Championship and has made them an established Premier League team. Obviously, they were not looking like they were going to win any Premier League titles or any domestic cups anytime soon, but they were established, they were steady, So, and then look at Brentford. What have they done? They finalized Michael Coyote's move. I know there was a loan with an option to buy. I think they've taken out that option and they signed Michael Coyote. So Michael Coyote, for me, from an Nigerian perspective, is a player I would love, Nigeria to look at, Eric Chill to look at in a bid to get him in. And then to play for Nigeria, but let's see how that shakes down. Then Romel Donovan. If I'm completely honest, being 100%, I'm not quite sure of the player. I don't know that much about him, but he was signed from Birmingham City to Brentford. Let's see what he's all about. And then you've got Carmine Kelleher. Kelleher, for me, is a goalkeeper that Chelsea should have gone for. And that's the problem I have with this sort of ownership group, these sporting directors. They always talk about being opportunistic. They always talk about, spotting that deal. Kelleher was a deal that should have been made. I'm sure even if Chelsea had come in at the opting hour at the last minute, they would have been able to get him because you would have a lot more to offer, Kelleher than Brentford. They've had Champions League football to offer, maybe slightly higher wages. Well, I say slightly higher wages, but who knows? Because right now it seems like if you're not looking to go for £10.50 an hour, Chelsea are not willing to pay your wages. So who knows if they would have been able to, meet Kelleher's wages. But that was a deal I was expecting Chelsea to look at. Because we hear this thing of they're super smart, they're opportunistic. When you see an opportunity to make a deal, they do it. But for some reason, this sort of deal, they've let it go by. So, but good move from Brentford to get her in the building. Good for them. Michael Coyote, I think it was fairly decent for them, last season. So let's see if we can build on that coming into the 2025-2026 season. So let's see about it. And then I hope within this time, Nigeria, Eric Chell will be able to get him to turn his head and play for the Nigerian Super Eagles. But let's see what happens. So once again, let me know in the chat what you think about the business your club has done so far. So moving on ever so, I say slowly, but gradually we're getting there. So stick with me, just looking at the done deals. This is from the official Premier League site. So let me know the club you support. What do you think of the business your club has done so far? I'll get to Chelsea pretty soon. So this is what Brighton have done so far. If I'm honest, I don't know too much about the players, but that's the usual Brighton format. That's how Brighton sort of operates right now. That's how they sort of operate. They go, they sign these raw gems that no one really knows that much about, and they have them in the squad. So they signed Diego Coppola. I think this is one they paid about 30 odd million pounds for. So they paid 30 million odd pounds for. They've also got Young Dun Young from Jeun Hana Citizens. Hopefully, I've not butchered the name of the player and the name of the club they signed him for. They've got Chara Lampos Costo Loas. Wow, butchering this name. I'm really sorry. From Olympiacos, and they've also got Tommy Watson from Sunderland. So once again, like I said, this is Brighton fashion. They sign these raw gems that no one knows about, and then the hope is to turn them to superstars and flip them for a huge payday, huge transfer fees. And for some reason, this is the model that Chelsea wants to copy. For me, I keep saying this: Brighton and Chelsea are different sort of clubs. Ambitions are always different. Brighton looking to establish themselves as Premier League club, as a Premier League club, bona fide Premier League club, wants to stay here for as long as possible. While Chelsea should be looking at competing for league titles, winning domestic cups, finishing comfortably in Champions League spots, winning Champions League titles. So expectations are sort of different, in my opinion. So, what do you think about the business Brighton have done? The business Brighton have done for me, I'm not been impressed. The window is still pretty young, and let's see what's going to happen. And then for outgoings, I know it's not on here yet, but there have been reports that Strasbourg, speaking about Chelsea, so talking about the club in the Blue Co club network, Strasbourg in the French Ligue 1 have sort of triggered the buy option clause for Valentin Boca. That's the Argentine left back. And I think it's a good move for him. And right now, I'm not even really comfortable with him coming to Chelsea. I'm happy he's going to Strasbourg because the way Enzo Maresca has been using fullbacks for me, I'm not really, really impressed about it. But this modern day football, fullbacks end up playing in the midfield. So, and that is meant to be super strategic style of play, wonderful style of play. That is the modern day football, progressive football. Well, maybe I'm too ancient, but that is. But what do you think about what Brighton has done so far? This transfer window for me, not. I think it's been underwhelming. If you're a Brighton fan, what do you think? Happy, inspired by it? For me, it's just a mere window so far, in my honest opinion. So let me know in the chats, in the comments, what your thoughts and opinions are on the business that your club has done so far this transfer window. So we continue to go. For me, like I said, Chelsea won't get to Chelsea. I will give you my thoughts on Chelsea, on the business they've done. But before we get to Chelsea, let's look at what Premier League new boys, Burnley, have done so far this transfer window. I think they've been really busy in terms of outgoings and incomings as well. And speaking about Chelsea, I think they also have a Chelsea player, and there's right now a former Chelsea player, in their ranks, and that is Bashir Humphreys. Bashir Humphreys used to be, his father was an academy player at Chelsea. He played quite a couple of games here and there for Chelsea, and then went on loan to Burnley, and they had a buy option. And apparently, he's performed well enough that they have indeed made that move permanent. So, um, yeah, they made that move permanent. So they've got Jaden Anthony, got him from Bournemouth, not really a wealthy player. They've got Marcus Edwards, in from Sporting Lisbon. So that's pretty interesting for me because I think Marcus Edwards, at Sporting Lisbon, he was really decent, fairly decent. So I think that's a decent move by Burnley. Let's see if he's able to translate his excellent form at Sporting Lisbon in the Premier League. We've got Zane Fleming from Millwall. So I'm not sure would he get game time? Not quite sure. Nathan Redmond left the club. Junior Shelby left the club. And Jeremy Sarmiento had gone back to Brighton after a loan. Max Weiss, signed from Karlusha. I think that's in Germany. And then, of course, they signed Hartman from Feyenoord. Speaking of Hartman, Chelsea were at some point linked to him. Because linked to him, and one of the issues that sort of came up was his injury history. He's a very good player. The only question is, would he stay fit? Would he be fit all through the season? So let's see how that shakes out. Now we're heading to the point that personally really affects me, and that is Chelsea, the business Chelsea have done this season. People are happy with it. Some others not so much. For me, it's been a bit underwhelming because we've got all this talk about Champions League football. Once you get Champions League football, then you see what this ownership group are all about. Then you see, you see them go out and get you those top class players. I think one of the points, at least the counter arguments we're getting from people who support Blue Coat, Clearly Capital, Todd Bowley, and the likes at Chelsea from the Chelsea fan base is this. Once you get into the Champions League, then the club will go all out to sign those top players, to sign the kind of players that you want, to sign your Victor Osimhen. When Chelsea was into the services of Victor Osimhen, one of the arguments was Chelsea not in Champions League yet, don't have the money to go out there and pay his wages, so that's why he wasn't signed. So this is the business Chelsea has done so far. Dario Esugo from Sporting Lisbon. I really like the player. I like the profile of player, physical, mobile, can sit in front of the back four, protect the back four, intercept passes, progress the ball, is a very good ball carrier from midfield. In a sense, just a player a little less than Caicedo. Some people might say Caicedo 2.0, but I think Caicedo overall is the better player. He's 20, so just a couple of years younger than Caicedo. So I think he is that kind of player that can come in. Caicedo's injured, suspended, or a bit tired, then Esugo comes in and takes his spot. And then the golden boy of the entire transfer window for Chelsea has been Estevao William. He hasn't kicked the ball for Chelsea yet, but he's very highly rated by, the sporting director is very highly rated by, the ownership very highly rated by the fans. Now, he hasn't kicked the ball yet. People are already, Chelsea fans are already kicking players off the team to make space for Estevao William. People have Madueke out of the team for Estevao William. People want Pedro Neto out for the kid. Some people even want Cole Palmer out of the team. At least some think he is competition for Cole Palmer. Now, I know there have been reports that have said Estevao William is best suited to play, as a 10. I see him more as a winger. But the problem I have with Estevao William playing as a winger is this. He is a bit tiny. He's a bit tiny. And why is that an issue? Normally for me, I don't care about height. If a winger, even if you're 5'5", 5'6", if you're skillful, if you're technical enough, you should be able to drive. But there are two things that I think work against Estevao William. One, his size, his age. So I'll put all that in one. Or let me say three. His size, his age. And thirdly, is how Enzo Maresca uses his wingers. Now, when you have wingers being doubled up on, being dribbled upon every time, It makes it difficult for that winger to operate. I know people would like to criticize Madueke. People would like to criticize Pedro Neto. But this is true. People praise Bino Gittins. He's not been signed yet. But when you watch his clips, don't just watch how he dribbles, but watch what the fullback does in each of those clips. Each of those compilations, those skill, the best of the player, why Chelsea wants some sort of video. Watch what the fullback does. Watch what the fullback does. So but with Enzo Maresca, he sort of has his fullbacks tucked into the midfield and they're not even dynamic to go on the outside to provide any sort of width for the wingers. So when you have those wingers steadily isolated 2v1, 3v1 a lot of the time, a player like William will struggle. That's my honest opinion. And then secondly, even if he comes and plays very well, he's still very young and he's not someone that comes in and instantly lights the league on fire, in my opinion. But I hope he comes in and he does good. Because if he does good playing for Chelsea, that means Chelsea will be doing good. And that's all I want. And I'm sure that's all Chelsea fans want. Now, talking about players coming in, let's talk about players going out. So, of course, Bashir Humphreys, we talked about him as well previously. So he's joined Burnley. They sort of triggered the buy option, big application to buy. So they've signed him up. And then we've got Liam Delap. Now, for me, Liam Delap, very, very good signing, but I've had my self. What would I say? I'm being cynical. I'm not being cynical. I'm being objective. He scored a very good goal against Esperance de Tunis a couple of days ago. So brilliant for him. Good goal. And especially now with, Jackson set to miss the start of this Premier League season and as well set to miss another game after the Esperance de Tunis to miss the Benfica game. So he has a lot of opportunities there to, make that number 9 spot his own. And given the fact that Jackson hasn't really been impressive all the time he's been at Chelsea. Now, the problem I have is still the same thing. He's still young. He's still very raw. He doesn't have that experience, title winning experience, title chasing experience. Now, a lot of people, after he scored that goal, against Esperance de Tunis, sort of have lost their minds. Oh, we told you he scored a goal against Esperance in the Tunisian side. He scored a goal. Yes, that means he is the right guy to take Chelsea to the title. Of course, he's going to score some goals. Young players, they'll have their highs where he'll score even a hat-trick in 2 games. Score a hat-trick, that's 6 goals in 2 games. But because of the age, because of his inexperience at that level, you have games where he will struggle. You have games where he will completely disappear. That is the truth. This is not a knock on the player. This is just what comes with the package of signing a very, very young player. That's what comes with that package. You have the highs like you had a couple of days ago. Lovely goal. Lovely goal. For me, I was more impressed with how he controlled the ball, brought on his chest, took the defender out of the picture than the finish. The finish was okay, it wasn't spectacular, but overall, how he comported himself to score the goal was very good. But for me, the question is still there. He's still very young, very raw. So can you rely on Liam Delap to say for the entirety of the 2025-2026 season, you are main man? And if you're relying on him, can you rely on him to say, going into that 2025-2026 season, he is the main man to push you towards the Premier League title challenge at the very least? Because Chelsea was challenged this season, to take you maybe to a semi-final of the Champions League. Is he that guy? I'm not quite sure. Can he even lead you to win an FA Cup at least? Can he lead you to finishing comfortably in the top 4? I'm not quite sure. Because as Chelsea fans, if you're hyping and backing the board and backing the ownership group and all that stuff, you must be, you must acknowledge this fact that you are writing off the season. Now, miracles could happen from nowhere. You win the Premier League title, okay. But what you're doing when you say, oh, yes, Delap is what we want. Victor Osimhen, we don't want. Victor Gyökeres, we don't want. What you're saying in essence is you're writing off the season. He is a good player. I hope he comes good. I hope he proves me wrong. Because for me, I'm not one of those fans that, okay, with one display because this is not my first choice. He gets into the club, I want him to fail. No. If he plays well, if he scores tons of goals, 25, 30 goals, I know that means Chelsea is doing well. So if you're a Chelsea fan, let me know in the chat what you think about Liam Delap signing. And then Mamadou Sarr, I think he got his debut again, debut in that Esperance match in the Club World Cup. So it wasn't that much time, but fair play to him. So he was signed from Strasbourg as well. And then Marcos Bettinelli has left Chelsea to Man City now. So people are crying, oh, Bettinelli, he's good for the dressing room. Oh, Bettinelli, he's so good. He used to make players feel good. No, he's third choice goalkeeper. Third choice. He's never going to save a ball for Chelsea. He was never going to save a ball for Chelsea. So he's gone. Okay, he's gone. I have no issues with Marcos Bettinelli leaving. I personally would have sold him. You need to get people in the building that can contribute at some point, or at least you know that developing, and the speak like Bettinelli is maybe a Peter Cech. Maybe if you had a Peter Cech kind of caliber of person, then maybe say, okay, experience, winning mentality. But no, he's not even that. So I have no issues with it. So if you're a Chelsea fan, let me know in the chats what you think about the business that Chelsea have done so far this season. So we'll continue to go. And then let's see the next club we are looking at now. So the next club would be, we'll look at Crystal Palace next. What business have they done, if any? Walter Benitez from PSV as the new goalkeeper. Okay, I guess it's a need. They have a new goalkeeper coming in. Still nothing much to say. Let's see if he can cope with the Premier League, cope with high balls, cope with set pieces. Maybe if they get to play Arsenal, if you can cope with the dark arts employed by Arsenal in respect to their corners. So let's see how that shakes down. So nothing much to say there. Crystal Palace fans, what do you feel about Benitez as your new number one, if he gets to be even that? Let's see how that shakes down. So let me know how you feel about your club, the business your club has done so far, this transfer window. Yeah. As for Everton, they have more going out than they have coming in. So, yeah, let's look at it. The Amanda Broja end of loan. For me, I was hoping that somehow, some way, Broja could get that deal done. Chelsea and Everton could come to the point of agreement where Broja remains at Everton. But as a Chelsea fan, you want to be a bit selfish and think about only your club. But in reality, he didn't do that much for Everton, so he's gone. But my word, Everton have let a lot of people go. Ashley Young expected, 37, 38. So for a fullback, that's not the age you want your fullback to be. Admir Bogovic is left, so that's fine. João Virginia left. Now this is a shocker to me. Abdoulaye Dokore. I think he's always been important for Everton because he's always able to not only do the dirty side of the game, tackle, defending, protecting the back four, but he's always been able to come up with goals. Very important goals for Everton. So, well, that's it. It's all business, I guess. So Jack Harrison has ended, has ended of his loan. Jesper Lindstrom, end of loan. Aurel Mangala, end of loan. Armando Broja, end of loan. Let's see if there's any clause for them to trigger. I think that there was a clause they were meant to trigger, so let's see how that goes. And I think they've also signed one new player. I wonder if he gets to play, from Flamengo. So let's see if this guy gets to play. That's Charlie Alcaraz from Flamengo. Let's see if he gets to play. I don't know if he's playing the Club World Cup. I'm not quite sure, but let's see if indeed he gets to play. So that's just that one signing. Everton fans, you're happy with the business the club has done so far this season, or you're expecting more? Of course, you should be expecting more. They'll let more players go than some clubs have players. So we'll go on and see what other clubs have done, the business they've done. For me, Liverpool, they are the ones that have won this window. Liverpool, they have won this window. Fulham, they've not really done anything, so we're not going to bother. But at Liverpool, they have really won the window. And now, okay, we've got Leeds United. They have two pieces of transfer business that they have sort of confirmed, done deals. Yeah, so they released Joe Rothwell, they released Manos Solomon, sort of end of loan, he's gone back to Spurs. Now they signed Nemecha. Lucas Nemecha, from a Nigerian perspective, he was eligible to play for Nigeria and Germany, and he just come up with some statement that he wanted to play for Nigeria because of Perfumi Martins. But obviously things didn't work out, so I think he's a decent player. Let's see if he can cope with the Premier League. If I'm not mistaken, I think he was the one that was at Man City at some point at the academy. All those FA Cup Youth Cup games that they played against Chelsea. Chelsea and Man City used to play in semi-finals, quarter-finals, knockout phase, anyways, and even some. I think even in final as well. I think he was part of one of those teams. So back in English football, signed from Wolfsburg by Leeds United. Let's see what he does if he's able to sort of reacclimatize to English football. Joe Snowden released, and then Jack Biljol, I think, signed from Udinese. So, Leeds United fans, are you happy with the business your club has done? I'm sure you're expecting more because if you want to stay up, you know, you have to get more players in. And then from a Leeds United perspective, what I would say is this. If Farker is still their coach, then they're in for a struggle in the Premier League because the thing with these newly promoted clubs that come over to the Premier League is they have this philosophy, crazy young coaches, a player from the back, 50 short passes, winning by 2 billion passes, and then you make mistakes. And before you know it, half the season is gone. You have only 5 points, you have only 8 points, and you're struggling, just like what Russell Martin did at Southampton. You have these newly promoted clubs, rather than respecting the Premier League to know, okay, we're the best side or one of the best sides, in the Championship. We're coming up to the Premier League now. We have teams with more money. We have teams that, established in the Premier League. We have teams, who have signed top level players. Let's adapt in a way that we can survive. At least survive 1-2 seasons and then go on to establish ourselves as mainstays in the Premier League, as opposed to, want to pass it from the back, play dangerously. Now, when you say be a bit more conservative, it doesn't mean you shouldn't have a plan to attack, but it just means you stop acting naively and in a stupid fashion. So let's see if Leeds United have learned, from their former stint in the Premier League before they got relegated, and if Fark has indeed learned, because he's come up with, Norwich and played the same way, passing from the back, and they got smacked. They got smacked around, got relegated. Let's see if indeed he has learned. And then, so let's go back to talk about more. Let's talk about other clubs and the businesses that they have done in this transfer window. So we're all talking about done deals. Done deals. So we'll leave Liverpool because we're talking about Liverpool already. Now, Man City. This is the definition of a serious club. This is the definition of a serious club. A serious club. Winning league titles for fun, winning league titles back to back to back, winning the treble, but you miss out on Champions League. You nearly missed out on Champions League football, the season, still finished third, and then you say, no, that's not good enough. We're going to get players in that can take us close to Liverpool as possible. Kevin De Bruyne lost to Napoli. I think Kevin De Bruyne, let's take a moment to talk about De Bruyne. He's actually going to set Serie A on fire. Don't be shocked if he gets like 10 to 15 assists in Serie A. Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked. And don't be even shocked if he gets close to 20 goals. If McTominay can get the amount of goals he got playing for Napoli, I think De Bruyne is going to absolutely cook, as the kids say, in Serie A for sure. I'm not saying it's an easy league to play in, but he's going to absolutely be fantastic for them there. And then you've got Scott Carson leaving the club. That's why they signed Bettinelli, coming in, Ryan Ignori coming in from Wolves. And now for me, I think that's a good move for him. A lot of people are going on about, oh, he can't defend, he can't defend, he can't defend. Well, it's important to Maxim to be able to defend, and I think he's a slightly better defender than Alexander Arnold. And despite the fact that Alexander Arnold wasn't that great a defender, he was still very decent and part of Liverpool's side that have gone on to win league titles, Champions Leagues, and a lot. So I think the way Man City play, ignore it would shine. I just think it would shine. And if you look at this right now, you get to see, at least on paper right now, it seems like Guardiola is going all the way back to his former Barcelona days. You have Haaland, who is the Eto figure. You have Ryan Cherki, not Messi anyway, but he's the Messi figure. So you're having people that are good on the ball, technically gifted on the ball, can dribble, glide plus pass players. And from my own perspective, I don't want to see Ryan Cherki. I'm not a Man City fan. I hope Chelsea finishes above them if that's possible. But Ryan Cherki, I want to see him do what he's able to do. And he's one player I wanted Chelsea to sign. He was there, a layup. He's one of those players that Chelsea yet again have just floundered. You had Michael Olise was right there, just get the loan of Lewis Hall to Crystal Palace for some weird reason. They chose to break the loan deal to Crystal Palace. And that's why Crystal Palace just reacted and said, okay, you don't want us to get Lewis Hall, then you're not getting Michael Olise. Because these sporting directors at Chelsea, they always have a way of scoopering or spoiling deals that are just there for them to make. So Ryan Ignori, good move for him. I think he'll be fantastic for Guardiola the way he wants to play him. Marcos Bettinelli probably is like fourth choice, not even going to play. So maybe he will probably sit on the bench and hopefully win some titles on the bench. Ryan Cherki, I think he will be absolutely fantastic. Tijani Reinders, I think he's decent, but I don't think he's quite as good as people are trying to make him out to be. I think Kovacic, if not for his injuries, is a way better player than Tijani Reinders. Let's see how that shakes out when the Premier League season indeed starts. So let me know your thoughts and opinions. If you're a Man City fan, what do you think about the business that your club has done? So in the chat here, Arsenal news. Arsenal, there's talk of Norgard. Fabrizio Romano has reported on Norgard. I'll just check quickly, but he has reported on Norgard, but we haven't got any official confirmation yet. So that is the only Arsenal related news. There's talk of Norgard, the Danish player that was at Brentford. And for me, the question is, from an Arsenal perspective, is he the kind of player that comes in and makes a difference? Now, keep this. I know everyone wants to support their club. Everyone wants to support their club. Everyone wants to say, yeah. So Fabrizio Romano has said, "Here we go." So I'll just share. I'll share this. Share this. Here. So this is Arsenal. Fabrizio Romano has said, "Here we go." So this is "Here we go." He said, "Christian Norgard to Arsenal. Here we go. Agreement done, club to club, after 11 million euros proposal sent today. Personal terms also agreed with Norgard's, set for maybe his medical." But Arsenal fan, is this the kind of player you want? You happy with this deal, with this transfer? For me, as a rival fan of Chelsea, I don't really see it as, anything that makes me scared, that makes me shake in my boots to say, wow, this is a major deal that Arsenal, have done. I don't really feel scared or terrified about it. It doesn't make me feel like, wow, Arsenal are going to shake people up. Because unlike Liverpool, Arsenal haven't taken care of the needs they have. They have that number 9 problem like Chelsea. Chelsea have got at least an active striker in the building. But Arsenal, they haven't even addressed that. You hearing talk about Sesco. You hearing talk about was the Sporting Lisbon striker name? Yeah, about this Jokeresh. Yeah, exactly. Because you didn't talk about Jokeresh, but it's still we want to sign Jokeresh, we want to sign Sesco. You never get anything concrete about that. So I think for me, Arsenal, their focus should be getting a striker in the building, and they haven't done that. They've got Norgard. They've got Norgard in from Brentford. He'll be a nice, decent body in the midfield, but I don't think he's a game changer. If he was a Sex Fabregas type player that can come up with those crazy assist numbers, or a Frank Lampard type player that can come up with lots of goals from midfield, they could say, okay, yeah, that's the sort of player that we want to make a difference. But from a just perspective, as a rival fan, that does not shock me. It does not make me feel like, wow, I'm so terrified right now. So that's it. So now we go to Man City. Let's go to Manchester United. They haven't done okay. They've done one transfer deal, so yeah, they've got Matheus Cunha in the building. Manchester United, they have got Matheus Cunha in the building. For me, I think the jury is still out on Cunha. A lot of people are high on him. Oh, he's fantastic. He's da 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 da. But they've forgotten that he struggled at Atletico Madrid, yes, and at Leipzig, I think he struggled there, if I'm not mistaken. And then even the first couple of seasons at Wolves, he's also struggled. Now it's only this past season that he's actually caught fire and has been very, very good for Wolves. So Manchester United, they've signed him in, and now lots of people are super excited about him. Let's see how he shakes out. Let's see if indeed he's able to if indeed he's able to come good and prove himself at that top level. Because the only time he's had the opportunity to play at the top level for Atletico Madrid, he struggled. Let's see if he's able to play well and come good for Manchester United. And Manchester United, I think they still have a lot of business to do. Now, I'm a Chelsea fan. I like João Felix. I like Nkunku. But the way Enzo Maresca is going with João Felix, the way he's going with Nkunku, and the way the board are also acting up, maybe they may not be looking to keep them. And if you're Manchester United under Ruben Amorim, you're going to play 3-4-3. You're going to have 2 10s behind the striker. I would go and get João Felix and Nkunku and play two of them behind whoever you get as a striker. Maybe you play Cunha ahead of them. There's a talk of getting Brian Mbeumo in. He's a very good player. But can you imagine João Felix in that 10 row with Nkunku behind the Cunha? That would absolutely be something interesting to look at. Now, I know people say João Felix is not good enough. Look at the context of why he hasn't played well for Chelsea. But that's a different discussion. Christian Eriksen has been released. Manchester United, Johnny Evans been released as well. Victor Lindelof has been released as well. Of course, you expect that. Christian Eriksen, he got to play for Manchester United. He got to play after his heart issues. So that was nice to see that he was able to recover from that incident, that really pulled out the heartstring of everybody, every football fan, every human being, I would say, was able to come back from that. So that was one good thing that we would love to see that. But I just think he should retire. That's my personal opinion. But he should do whatever is best for him. But he has been released by Manchester United. Johnny Evans, of course, he's super agent right now. So finally released him. Lindelof has also been released. So that's fine. I think Manchester United would not complain at all if I was I'm not going to go there. As a Chelsea fan, if we have players that were in this sort of bracket, I wouldn't mind them going, really. We've got Cunha in, that's the only business that sort of a done deal. It's already there on the Premier League website, so that's confirmed. So let's see how Manchester United continue. Manchester United fans, are you happy with the business your club has done, going into the next season? Now, the question I would ask is this. If the transfer window is to end right now, now, would you be happy with the deal they've done? And so Isaac asked, Isaac asks, Chelsea Gittins. Now, Chelsea are in talks with Dortmund. It seems the talks are continuing. They're having more discussions. They're getting closer and closer and closer to getting, reaching an agreement. For me, Gittins, I'm going to be completely 100% honest with you. Gittins is a tidy player. He's a nice winger. But the same questions I have for Estevao William, the same question I've had for other players as well is this: are you sure he's going to come in and be absolutely fantastic for Chelsea from day one? Are we confident? Now, he is good, he is talented, but are you sure he's able to come good immediately? Because that's what you need at Chelsea right now. Players that can come in and immediately hit the ground running, and make an impact, make a difference immediately. That's the question I have with Gittins. So Gittins right now, okay, so Fabrizio Romano says Chelsea and Borussia Dortmund have been in direct contact again the recent hours for Jeremy Bino Gittins. The agreement is getting closer as talks continue in the US. So apparently, since you would have the clubs are in the US for the Club World Cup, maybe the executives could also use the opportunity to, have that discussion, about signing Gittins. Now, the question I have for Gittins is this: one, can he come in? He's 20 years old. Are we getting the guarantee that he can come in immediately and hit the ground running and start contributing significantly from day one? Because he's still young, he's still raw, and we can say that for the entirety of the Chelsea team. Because apart from Adarabayo Tosin, no one is more than 26. They're all 25 and under. So you have that genuine gap, that genuine chasm with respect to experience. Now, he's pacey, he's got his skill, maybe he comes in and he plays, and people are immediately saying, Madueke, go to the bench, drop Madueke immediately. Bino Gittins is the guy. Watch Dortmund play. Watch how their fullbacks support him when he plays. And for me, this is where Chelsea wingers are struggling. I've been saying this, I keep saying it. People want to act like they don't see it. They want wingers fullbacks or wingbacks to be in midfield. I don't see it. For me, I'm not super happy with what Chelsea done. We've got Delap in the building. Fair play, that's decent. That's a decent signing in my opinion. But it's still very raw, so it's not 100% guaranteed to give you those goals, to give you those assists on a steady, regular basis. You have his ups and downs. Esugo comes in as a young player as well, still young and raw. Andre Santos, more accomplished than Esugo, but he's still a young player, he's still young. So you have a lot of young players in the team. So I would have been hoping for a more high profile, more experienced person coming in, that can then go on to, partner with other players and give them, that can go on to inspire players on the pitch, teach players how to win. Because sometimes the coach can do all the X's and O's for you. 4-4-2, 4-3-3, play here, make these runs. But sometimes you need to see someone who's been there, done it, won the t-shirt. So for me, that's my take on Gittins. So Arsenal, Norgard, that's the only news we're hearing now. Here we go, so that we know what that means. That means it's virtually done. Just waiting for official announcement from the Arsenal sort of official pages, official channels. So let's see how that shakes out. And then we go to Newcastle United. Now, Newcastle United, apparently Liverpool are pushing to get Isak, but I just think the fact that Liverpool have got Newcastle have Champions League football, that just means that it's near on impossible for Liverpool to get Isak. So who have they got in? They've got Antonio Cordero, transfer in, but I think he'll be going out on loan for Malaga. I think he'll be going out on loan. Jamal Lewis will release. Lloyd Kelly released as well. So far so good. Nothing crazy from Newcastle. I think Newcastle they've made several attempts to sign Elanga from Nottingham Forest. I think that's a good piece of business if they're able to get it done. So I think if he comes in, he will be. I think that will be as a replacement for Murphy because Murphy has been forced to play at the wings, to play at fullback, even if he's not the fullback. So let's see how that shakes out. If they're able to get Elanga, I'm not quite sure because Nottingham Forest are going to their first European campaign in a long while. So I don't think they want to break up this team just too soon. Maybe after the season, then they can let people like Osnodor and Elanga go. So let's go on to other teams and see the businesses that they have done. Because not so much. Nottingham Forest have been done. The business is not Forest. No business they're done, so skip over them. Sunderland, they've got Enzo Lefebvre. I think they triggered the clause in the contract, so they've got Enzo Lefebvre in. And funny enough, at some point I wanted Enzo Lefebvre at Chelsea, but those early stages when these blue coat people are coming, but no worries about that. So he came on loan from Roma, played for Sunderland, and now the deal has been confirmed, has been made permanent rather. So he's in the team. Watson has been sold. Joe Bellingham, of course, we know has signed up with Dortmund, so playing the Club World Cup. So happy days for him. And they were linked to a Nigerian player, Uche Santos, who for me I think would have seamlessly just fit into the setup. But let's see how it shakes down. The window is still open. But Sunderland fans, are you happy with the business we've done so far? Just Enzo Lefebvre in the building. And Sunderland, with due respect to the club, I think this is another club that's coming to the Premier League. I think they should be a bit cautious, be solid, difficult to beat, hit on the counter. If you want to play swashbuckling, open yourself out all the way football is meant to be played, you may end up playing beautiful brand of football in the Championship come August next year. But let's see how we shake down. So that's it for Sunderland. So we'll continue to go. Let me know in the chats what your thoughts and opinions are about your club, the business they've done, and who do you think so far has won, or rather is winning the transfer window? Who do you think is winning this transfer window? Now we go to this sports side. They've got someone I don't know in the building from Croatia, a Croatian club. Matistel is in the building. Kevin Danso from RC Lens is in the building for Spurs, and they've made the signing of Matistel permanent. They made that deal permanent. So goodbye to Bayern and goodbye to Titans. Well, I joke. Kevin Danso, fairly decent player. Let's see if he's able to cope with the Premier League. Luka Vuskovic in from Hajduk Split in Croatia. And then Matistel, like I said, made permanent. Let's see if he comes good. So Timo Werner's loan is ended, so he's gone. He's been let go. I'm sure that they refused to trigger the option to buy. So he's back at RB Leipzig. Maybe they can have use of him since it seems like they may lose Sesko. Or even if they don't lose Sesko, maybe he could partner with Sesko because he always performs well when he has this giant striker by his side. So Sesko 6'4", 6'5", I think maybe could be very useful for him. And then they've also they've released Fraser Forster, they've released Sergio Reguilon. Wow. And Amy Whiteman also gone. Emil Højbjerg since joined Marseille. Matistel, I think that's only significant incoming, and Kevin Danso as well. For me, I don't really care what they do. They'll still be crap. Apologies. But so if you're a sports fan, what do you think about what your team has done so far this transfer window? For me, I'm not really impressed. I wouldn't say rivals to Chelsea, but I would say as a team in the Premier League, I'm not really scared or I'm not really shaken by anything they've done. Obviously, they've not really done anything in the transfer window. So we'll continue to go. But if you're a Liverpool fan on here, what do you think of your window? I'm sure you're super, super pleased, with the business that your team has done. West Ham United, just one transfer that has been confirmed as in on the website, and that is Jean-Claire Todibo from OGC Nice. The deal is now confirmed on the Premier League website, so that means it is done. Jean-Claire Todibo. And I think it was linked to Manchester United at some point, and then for some whole political reason, a player leaving the OGC Nice that has some ties to Jim Ratcliffe, so they couldn't let him go. For me, some rules in football, they seem nice-ish or moralistic, but they're not really realistic in my opinion. Looking at the way football is right now, how many people are willing to invest in clubs? How many people are willing to own clubs? And what indeed would happen, if a club or two clubs rather under one ownership let themselves? What would happen? Would you say you make one club lose for yourself? If it was in the same football organization, the same FA, like maybe a Chelsea and I don't know, maybe a Brentford, then I can see where you could have that issues. But on the team, that's it. So Jean-Claire Todibo, that's the only player that's coming. And I know that Danny Ings has been released as well. And from a Nigerian perspective, I know there's been this link linking Rafiu Durushimi to move to Wolves. I think if Wolves are able to make that deal happen, then they'll have a special player on their hands. He's fast, he's clinical, he can run the channels, he can play as a lone striker, he's 6'4", so he's a massive unit. So he can do it all, in my opinion. So if Wolves are able to get a player, then that would be good. But I digress, talking about West Ham United. They've let a lot of players go. Even Ferguson is sent back to Brighton, end of his loan spell. Now, for me, Ferguson is just so unfortunate. He used to be the guy everyone was raving about. He used to be Liam Delap before Liam Delap. It's funny, he's still very young. Is he 23 or care about? He's still very young. He used to be the guy at Brighton. Some Chelsea fans were all over him. And that's why I say, Chelsea fans, pump the brakes on Liam Delap. Pump the brakes. Yes, he scored a good goal. Congratulations. Good. Pump the brakes. Because you come in, you score 12 goals for Ipswich. The next thing you're playing for Chelsea, top level, you're marked differently. You're played, set up against differently. How can you cope? So, Evan Ferguson, going back to Brighton, I'm not quite sure if you even have game time for Brighton. Probably he'll be sold. And Kozuma release. A bit sad about that. So all in all, I don't think West Ham have done crazy business. So I'm sure their fans will be looking for more. Absolutely. If I was a West Ham fan, I would have been looking for more. I'm sure their fans will be looking for more. Because I don't think they have actually done enough. So we continue to progress down this line. And then finally we come to last, maybe not least, hopefully this does not signify how that season ends at the end of the day, and that's Wolves. So this is Wolves now. So speaking about Wolves, the business they've done that's confirmed on the Premier League site is Hugo Bueno, from Celta Vigo is coming, Fer Lopez is coming, okay, Hugo Bueno from Feyenoord that's coming, Fer Lopez from Celta Vigo has been signed as well. So let's see what those players bring to it. Ryan Adnori obviously has joined Man City. I think that's an absolute steal for Man City. Every other club just watched them sign that player. Sarabia released, Al Arabi, Martin Cunha has been sold to Manchester United. Obviously, Carlos Forbes, end of loan, gone to Ajax. Did he even quite play for Wolves? I don't quite think he really played that many games for Wolves. Now, speaking of Wolves, now I can talk about Rafiu Durushimi a lot more. If Wolves are able to get this deal done for Durushimi, I think they'll be getting their hands on a super special player, in my humble opinion. So, wonder what your thoughts and opinions are on this. Now, I want to say this because we're currently coming to an end of the video, but I want to say this. I'll be having a live stream, not today, but it will be focused on Nigerians that are on the move, and we'll have a discussion about that. If you want to be part of that, let me know in the comment section. If you'd like to see that sort of video, like to see that sort of live stream, let me know in the chat. But overall, what do you think about your club so far, the transfer business that your club has done? Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City. What's your take on what the business your club has done? I'm sure if you're a Liverpool fan, you have no worries whatsoever. Happy days, because your club is really taking care of business. The club is really taking care of business. Well, Chelsea has been linked to a lot of people, but nothing has been finalized as of yet. Arsenal will soon get Norgard in the building, but nothing as of yet has been confirmed by way of players coming in. So just look at Arsenal as we wrap up. So what have Arsenal done so far this transfer window? They're waiting for Norgard to come in the building. Let's see if that is indeed completed. Jorginho released, playing for Flamingo right now. Nathan Butler, Udeji, I spoke about him. I think you've got Lausanne in the Swiss first division are looking to sign him. At least there are reports that the Swiss club looking at him. And they got Elian Kessler Ton released as well. Kieran Tierney released as well. Raheem Sterling, end of loan, back at Chelsea. Can we send him back to you again? Raheem Sterling, I don't think can really cut at Chelsea. Well, let's see what happens. And then let Neto go back to Bournemouth. Probably Bournemouth will be holding on to Neto, until they're able to get a replacement goalkeeper. Nuno Tavares gone back to Lazio, the permanent transfer. Marquinhos, a player they signed for I think 3 or 4 years. I don't think he got to play any competitive game for Arsenal. So I think that's done. So that's it, not for the video, but for Arsenal. And then with respect to who has won this transfer window, for me, I think there's only one winner. I wish it was my club. I wish it was Chelsea, but it's not. It's not. It's not. There's only one club that I would say right now have won this early transfer window. And that's Liverpool. That's it. The club who have won this transfer window so far. It's still young. The transfer window is still young. Still early days, But yeah, as I say, they've got Mamadashvili in the building. Valencia #1. They lost to Alexander Arnold. They got Frimpong in this place. Kelleher is out to Brentford. Dominic Carnes release. Jakob release as well. Percy, from Pushkash Academy. I think that would be Romania, right? He's in. I don't think he looks like someone that will get 50 minutes. And then, of course, you got Florian Wirtz. So Florian Wirtz comes in. I think he is going to be a game changer for Liverpool because he's coming in to a side that has already won before, already have top players in Mo Salah, Van Dijk, So I think that should work out well for him. But let's see how it goes. All the pressure's on him, British transfer record on his head. Let's see if he's able to live up to that pressure. And now for Chelsea, what can I say? But what players do your club need? What areas do you think your club should be looking at in the transfer window? For me, I still feel Chelsea's got Delap in the building, but you still need to get me that striker in that building. Left winger, seems like Chelsea may be getting get-ins. Negotiations are going on positively, nicely. And the club seem to respect themselves, seem to have respect for themselves. Let's see how that goes down. If Chelsea indeed will be able to get that deal done. So that's my personal opinion with respect to the done deal. So what do you think about this sort of live stream where I talk about the deals that have been completed? What's your opinions about that? Let me know in the chat if you want to see more videos like this. So I just want to say big thank you for all those that have supported the live stream, supported this channel. You keep subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you on yet another video. So stay well and stay